Greetings everyone, welcome to our channel. Subway built an empire by offering a healthy alternative to other fast food options at prices that appealed to recession-struck consumers. But fast-rising rivals and changing opinions about what makes something healthy have eroded Subway's dominance. Consumers have more money to spend and are willing to spend a bit more for a fresher, less processed product. The chain has struggled to maintain its healthful image in the face of competitors like Chipotle and Firehouse Subs. If you're new to our channel, you're going to want to head on over and hit that subscribe button. If you're ready to have your mind blown, ring that notification bell as well so you'll never miss another video. Subway saw a 25% fall in business from 2012 to 2017 and had to close multiple stores, leaving hundreds of franchise owners struggling to figure out what went wrong. Unfortunately, most of the Subway stores are owned by individuals rather than investment firms, and they took the hit hard through no fault of their own. It came to the stage where officials from Subway were pretty much told to find a violation just so they can shut down a store. So, what happened? We are equally curious to know about it. Let's dive in. Subway is facing one of its biggest threats yet in its 50-year history. What consumers see as healthy has evolved. Subway hasn't. Ingredients replaced. With 43,945 sandwich shops in 110 countries, Subway has become the world's most ubiquitous restaurant chain, posting armies of sandwich artists in more American outposts than McDonald's and Starbucks combined. Taco Bell and Pizza Hut say they're getting rid of artificial colors and flavors, making them the latest big food companies scrambling to distance themselves from ingredients people might find unappetizing. Instead of black pepper flavor, for instance, Taco Bell will start using actual black pepper in its seasoned beef. Inspirational much? Of course, the Subway always is, no matter what. Largest fast food company around the globe. A few years ago, when Subway was annihilating its competitors with cheap sandwiches and healthy alternatives to your typical hamburger, no one would have guessed it would fall the way it did. With more than 24,000 restaurants in the US alone and 42,000 restaurants in countries around the world, Subway is without a doubt the largest fast food company in the world. This is what makes it even more surprising that everything is going so terribly wrong. The rise, or the beginning, of Subway. While Subway may be struggling to keep customers interested today, it wasn't always like that. Actually, it was quite the opposite. When it first opened its doors in 1965, this simple idea was exactly what people were looking for. The first Subway was called Pete's Subway and was created due to a partnership between Peter Buck, a nuclear physicist, and Fred DeLuca, who was at the time a struggling college student. Fred DeLuca had approached Peter, a family friend, for help in paying his college tuition. However, Peter offered an alternative solution. He gave Fred $1,000 to open his first sandwich shop, and that single event is the reason we grab a Subway on our way to work. While Fred continued college and earned his degree, Subway kept growing, and by 1973, Subway had 16 locations. For a guy that had only recently graduated and had money problems not so long ago, this was no small feat. Subway took a while to catch on in the beginning, but when it did, it took off. New locations were opening every day, and Subway proved to be surprisingly resilient to cultural differences. Many critics voiced their fears about how a meaty sandwich is doomed for failure in Asian and Middle Eastern countries, but vegan restaurants in India and kosher options across the United States proved them wrong. But while Subway is adaptable, 2019 revealed that it may not be adaptable enough. Initially, the submarine sandwich that Subway is characteristically known for was more than enough to succeed. The open kitchen idea was essentially Subway's creation, and customers loved seeing their meal being prepared right in front of them with fresh ingredients. But as the years went by, the open kitchen concept became more common, and a dozen other sandwich places opened shop. Suddenly, this amazing idea was not enough. Did you know? In 1997, Subway released a campaign that advertised its 7 low-fat sandwiches and compared them with other fast food chains' burgers and tacos. What went wrong? Subway positioned itself as a healthy fast food alternative, a dependable lunch, and a cheap buy. What more could a consumer ask for? What went wrong, and why are stores closing faster than they're opening? Too many stores, way too fast. Put simply, Subway got too big for its boots. The company was opening franchises at an alarming rate, and their success blinded them. The little jingle, $5 footlongs, netted $3.8 billion in sales for the fast food giant, and there came a point when Subway's founder, Fred DeLuca, was even quoted saying Subway could have 100,000 stores worldwide. That didn't happen, of course. After closing 355 stores in 2016 and 800 more in 2017, Subway only continued to shut down franchises the following year. Subway opened restaurants in gas stations, at truck stops, at rest areas, and even in convenience stores. Its anywhere and everywhere mentality allowed it to expand quickly. So why was opening more stores a bad thing? Well, as mentioned before, Subway does not own and operate its stores, but rather franchises it out to individuals and families. That meant the constant and unstoppable expansion of stores was causing Subway stores to compete with each other instead of competitor companies. In a space like downtown Manhattan, for example, there were 10 Subway locations in less than half a square mile. If two Subways were located a few feet apart from each other, it resulted in a fall in sales and Subway trying to beat, well, Subway. Subway corporate did not intervene though, because even though the stores were not doing that well, more stores gave them more fees and royalties. So while this was hurting small business franchise owners, Subway was still profiting, so far at least. Who wants a plain old sandwich? Ham and cheese, turkey and mayo, barbecue sauce. These ingredients worked with the older generations, but the millennials of today are looking for something that excites their taste buds, is cruelty-free, and has a kick of spice to it. Subway does not deliver. More adventurous sandwich restaurants like Jason's Deli are taking over the market share with their fancy meats and healthier varieties. Some people with a few more pennies to spare are even willing to go for a gourmet option such as Jimmy John's gourmet sandwiches that have an avocado spread and super speedy service. Subway is catching up by introducing pricier ingredients and more options, but they are still trying to figure out when a sandwich became more than just a plain old sandwich. 2014, the fall or fail. But everything started to change in 2014. That year, Subway's sales started to drop. In 2014, Subway's sales declined by 3%, and competition from chains like McDonald's, Jimmy John's, Potbelly, and Panera didn't help. Subway experienced a major setback in 2015 when Fogel, the former face of the company, pleaded guilty to having sex with minors and distributing and receiving child pornography. He was sentenced to nearly 16 years in prison that November. Subway immediately cut ties with Fogel, deleting any mention of him on its site and social media accounts. No other sources of income. While McDonald's was adding a breakfast menu and the now famous McCafe to their list of sources of income, Subway was depending solely on their sandwiches. The one time they did attempt to add a breakfast menu, it was a dismal failure. This was one of the major reasons income fell. The bigger Subway got, the more important it was to have more than just a sandwich to their name. In their defense, it is hard getting into the already oversaturated area of breakfasts on the go, but nonetheless, their only noteworthy source of income to date remains the sandwiches. Fred DeLuca's death. After the founder's death in 2015, things only got worse. The company did not have the same leadership it was used to, and sales tanked. Stores were closing rapidly, and Subway was not trying to catch up to new trends like delivery or mobile apps like other stores. This also means fewer people were interested in buying a franchise in the first place. What does the future hold for Subway? While the future may seem bleak for the fast food giant, all hope is not lost. Can Subway bounce back? Probably, but it's going to take a complete rebranding. Bottom line, what are your thoughts about this fast food company? Do you like Subway or not? In both cases, what makes you love it or hate it? Let us know in the comments section below. We all have a love and hate relationship with Subway. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Also, hit the bell icon button so that you'll get a notification whenever we post a new video.